evening and happy Sunday to you guys. It's been a long time since I've been in the Beyond Limits Live group, but this is the official jumpstart of the group. You're going to be seeing lots and more content from me, lots more to support you in growing your business. You're also going to see a lot today because this is the official 17-year anniversary party for me as a business person in my coaching business. I'm Wendy Y. Bailey, known as your income acceleration mentor, and I'm a master business and sales coach. Throughout the course of today, thanks for you guys jumping on. Let me know you're there. Say hi. During the course of the time that I'm with you, I'm not going to be here a long time, but I want to be sure to share with you little hints about my journey, things that I've experienced along the way. Hopefully, it will help you. I'm also going to be sharing some content and for your engagement when you respond to questions that I ask along the way. I'm also going to reward you with giveaways and prizes as well. So I see people are jumping on. Hello there. I see, is that Yabo? I also see, hey Jerry, I see Jerry, I see Winnie. Good to see you guys. Really, really good to see you guys. So I've been in my business for 17 years, and what most people don't always know about me is how I got started as a coach. When I came out of corporate America, let me say this, I was in a corporate management position. I was a senior manager. I had a group of technical project managers that reported to me. And I also had the supervisor of a small call center that reported to me with his team. And I loved what I did. I had built my team. I had great relationships with my team, but I got voted off the island. Okay, that's the way I refer to it. And I like to say it that way because it really does represent what I feel happened in the situation. And when I left corporate America, if you can imagine, I did not feel like I wanted to go back into that kind of experience. Okay. And so I said, okay, what am I to do right now? And I prayed and I studied and I thought about it and I worked on it. And what I was led to do an inventory, if you will, of what I really truly wanted to do and be. It was a great opportunity for me to just take stock of everything. And the first thing that came up for me was writing. I had served as the editor for my church newsletter for 4.5 years. And instead of it being like a newsletter, it was really like an inspirational magazine. So I loved the idea of writing. So I was in the habit of writing. I wanted to do more of that. I also had served as a class leader at my church. And as a class leader, I had done some speaking, I had organized some groups and some panels. I did a lot of things in my church. And then speaking was something I always wanted to do, but really just never had the time to invest in what it took to be a really good speaker. I don't think at that point I had even been a part of Toastmasters. But what I'm saying to you is I inventoried the things that I was good at. And when I looked at that, and I also saw that in my corporate career, people sought me out for mentorship. And it was because I was kind of a no-fluff manager, but I was personable. I was true to what I said, and I really supported the people that reported to me. So those three things came together for me. And if you're watching this video, thank you for watching. Again, let me know you're there. Give me some heart love. Let me know you're there. Share the video, like video. Just put something in the comments to say, hey, I'm here. So coming out of corporate America and doing that inventory, I didn't know what all of it meant. And right around the same time, the Oprah Winfrey Show was still on air. And she had a show with Cheryl Richardson, who, if you don't know her, look her up. She was a well-known coaching person at that time. And a lot of people did not know about coaching and what coaching was. So I watched intently the show to learn more about what Cheryl did and what this whole coaching thing was. And she offered a few websites at the end of it. And I actually started looking up information about coaching. I started looking it up. I started feasting on coaching. I found more information. I was like, this is how I pull it all together. And I have not looked back. Well, it took me about a year, because that was in 2001. It took me about a year to go through coach training. I went through a couple of different coach training programs. And then I had to start to build content, and I started to build my website. And, I got feedback from people about my website. And I officially launched my business and said, I'm open on June 2nd, 2002. 17 years later, I'm still here. Woohoo, woohoo. I'm going to tell you more in just a minute, but I want to give you a little bit of content, and I want to ask questions, and if you're here, if you can answer them, post your comments and let me know. Look in the comments and let me know, because I did share a little bit that you'll have to remember for later. I wanted to tell you today about the ways to accelerate your income quickly. I'm asked this question all the time by my clients. I just realized I don't have my headset on. Can you guys hear me? I'm sorry, that was my mistake. I'm so used to just getting on and talking that I forgot to put my headset on. So hopefully you heard my story. Can you hear me now? Go ahead and let me know in the comments. That was totally a brain fart in terms of me doing something. If you can see me, hear me, let me know. I see that there are some comments. I'm going to go over to another device to see what comments you guys have had. How funny is that I forgot to put my headset on? Wow. I see you, Spirit. Glad you're here. I see you. I see you, Jerry. I see you, Winnie. I see you liking stuff. I see myself on live. Yes, 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 yes. Hey, Marsha. Yeah, awesome. You know, that was totally like a brain mistake. Did you guys hear any of my story? Let me know. If not, I'll start it over. I'll tell you again so you can hear it, because that was too hilarious. I just happened to see it sitting there and I thought, uh-oh. So I see more comments. Let me go back over here and see what you guys said, if I need to repeat it or if you're good. Let's see. Much better, much better, much better. I see. Okay. So I see more comments. Let me go back over here. Okay. I see more people have joined me. So I shared a first part of my story about how I came to coaching. So officially on June 2nd, 2002, I hung out my shingle. And I want to give you some content, and then I'll come back and tell you a little bit more of my story. So I get this question all the time about how do you accelerate your income? Well, it's not hard when you really think about the simplicity of the response I'm going to give you. It's really a mindset shift. I read something the other day or watched a video or something, and I thought it was really powerful because the person said, you can charge whatever you want as soon as you understand that you're worth charging whatever that amount is. It sounds flippant, but I'm telling you, it is so true. Charging what you're worth, accelerating your income go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. And when you think about charging what you're worth and accelerating your income, it's all about your ability to state fees that represent the value of your expertise and your experience. You've got to be able to set fees not based on what other people are doing in the marketplace, but you've got to set fees based on what you truly, truly represent in terms of value in your programs, your services, and your products. So there are three things you want to pay attention to. And I'm sorry, y'all, I'm kind of perspiring over here. There are three things you want to pay attention to. First of all, you've got to value your worth. If you want to accelerate your income quickly, you've got to value your worth. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this later, but you've got to see the value of what you're bringing in everything that you do. That's the first thing. The second thing is you've got to be able to sell more of your program services and products. You've got to be able to sell more. If you're selling 2, you need to be able to sell 4. If you're selling 5, you need to be able to sell 10. So you need to be able to sell more of what you're offering in the marketplace. And then the last thing I said a minute ago, you've got to be able to increase your fees. And increasing your fees is more about your mindset than it is about the fee that you're actually charging. It's more about your mindset. I had someone that I was working with recently, and I talked about her fees, and she was very uncomfortable increasing her fees. And she said, well, I've had people tell me that I wasn't charging enough, but I'm afraid if I increase my fees, then nobody will pay that. That's mindset. So we worked on the value of what she was bringing. We looked at everything possible. Again, I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. And based on looking at that, what she was able to see is I'm really worth charging more than that.
I'm really worth charging more than that. And what we compromised on, if you will, was an understanding that she couldn't double her fees then, but she felt like she could incrementally move toward that over the next year and a half, 2 years. I'm totally fine with that kind of approach because it says you want to see what the market will bear, and then you can move toward what you truly know you're worth. Okay. And again, I'll talk about more about that in a minute. So, ways to accelerate your income quickly. First of all, value your worth. Second of all, sell more program services and products. And third of all, increase your fees. One of my favorite digital mentors is Robin Sharma, and he's a personal performance leadership development expert. And he says if you want to increase your fees, invest in your personal development. It's powerful because what he's saying is mindset is everything. Mindset is everything. When you believe that you're worth what you're charging, saying the fee, stating the price, expressing the value will come easier for you as it relates to that. So I want to give away some prizes. I've got a copy of my I Charge for That book on Kindle that I'm going to give the first person to answer this. The first person to answer this, and it's from the story that I told in the very beginning. Tell me, what did I do before I became a coach? What did I do? I described it and I told you sort of how I worked in the environment. So if you can give me some hint that you heard me and know what I did, I'm going to give you the Kindle edition of my I Charge for That book. I Charge for That book. Okay. So who's there? I see some other people are popping on. I'm getting to my next section of content. If you're one of the first person to comment, I'm going to look to see the first person who comments. I can see my comments on my phone, but I can't see them on my screen. So give me a minute to look at my device, my other device over here, and see what you guys are saying. Let's see. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Marcia said, value your worth. Hey, Andrew, see you there. Love that. Charge your worth. Just listened intently. Good, 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 good. Okay. Senior manager. Yes, ma'am, Miss Spirit. I'm going to send you a copy of my book. I need to turn let me see if I can turn my volume down on this. Okay. Okay, good. I can turn it down that way. Okay, so yes, Spirit gets the first ebook, Kindle edition of my book. I charge for that, Mastering the Mindset for Sales Success. Let me move on. Let me tell you a little bit more about my story. Well, I did an inventory of what I wanted to do and what I was good at, but how did I really decide coaching was where I needed to be? The reality for me was the more I looked at coaching, the more I wanted to do coaching. I saw coaching as a departure from what I had experienced in my corporate management position. Coaching in corporate America can be misleading sometimes because management writes this beautiful vision and they write these wonderful guiding principles, and then people come into the mix, even if they've been part of that crafting, they come into the mix and all of their insecurities are played out via politics in the environment. So coaching is usually something that's not highly valued sometimes in corporate America. At least it wasn't back then. We're talking 18 years ago, so it may have changed. But my attitude about coaching was not exactly positive. So when I started looking at coaching and understanding what coaching truly was, it wasn't advice. It wasn't telling someone what to do. It still isn't advice. It still isn't telling someone what to do. It really is a methodology, a system, a set of tools that the coach uses to really help people to make change in their lives, in their work, and in their business. That's how I view coaching. That's the definition that I came to understand. And when I started to understand that definition, I knew I wanted to be part of this thing called coaching. And back then, there were only a couple of different coaching organizations that were like overseeing bodies of the coaching industry. One of those was the International Coach Federation, and the other one was the International Association of Coaches. At that time, Thomas Leonard had had his big toe in both of those, and he was alive and well. And about 9 months into my coaching, he had a massive heart attack and passed away. And it was a real blow to the coaching industry because the thing that he believed that I carry with me today is coaches need to be good coaches. There are a lot of people out there calling themselves coaches, but they don't have training, they don't have skills. They think that the definition of coaching is telling someone what to do or giving people advice. And I've already told you, my definition is it's a set of tools, a set of skills, a methodology that the coach uses to help the person change, make shifts to be better, to do better, to have more, and be greater in their level of success. And Thomas, in his belief around coaches being proficient, meant that coaches really made the investment of time and energy to understand what it meant to be coaches, but also to work on their own stuff. Personal foundation is what he called it. And personal foundation means you're able to look in the mirror every day, deal with your own stuff, right? So that you don't go hurt somebody as a coach. And I've been in places and spaces in my business early on where I did not have the right foundation. Okay. So I understand the difference between having the right foundation and not having it today. I want to give you some more content and then I'm going to come back and give away some more prizes. I told you that I would tell you today what you can do today to enroll clients into your high-end programs. Okay. High-end programs to me is anything that they're really making a major investment that requires some consideration, that requires a real investment of their time and energy and effort. That's a high-end program. And it's high value from you, from the perspective that you are actually walking them through the program. It is your blood, sweat, and tears. It is your intellectual property. And based on it being that, people really want whatever it is you're sharing because they want to make those changes that you promise your program will help them to make. So high-end programs can start at, $200, $300, $400 and go up to $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. High end means people pay a little bit more for them and they invest more of their time and energy into having them. So how do you do that? The first thing I want to say is no matter what kind of program, service, or product that you offer, you must always have ideal client clarity. For those of you who have been around me a while, you know this is one of my soapbox issues. I believe in ideal client clarity, and that means that you've got to know. Hello, Martha Newman, I see you out there. You've got to know your ideal client intimately well. Ideal client clarity is something that I partner with what I call the power of one. The power of one is one ideal client, one core problem, one core problem, and one comprehensive solution. One comprehensive solution. One ideal client, not many yet, okay? One clearly unique ideal client. It's got to be male or female. You've got to be gender specific. Yes, do I serve some males? I absolutely do. But is my message for women? Absolutely, because a woman is my ideal client. Okay, you've got to have a specific age range because the language you speak to a 50 to 60-year-old is different than the language you speak to a 30 to 40-year-old. Different language, different things happening in their world, and you have to be able to differentiate that language. Does it mean that I speak to 45 to 55-year-olds? Absolutely. And all of my demographics on my pages, on my insights, on my metrics, everything I look at says that is my sweet spot. 45 to 50-year-old women. Does that mean I don't attract 35-year-olds? Absolutely not. I do. But my message for the group of women that ideally I want to serve is clear. Does that mean I attract people that are over 55? Absolutely. Do I change my message? No. It is still for the 45 to 55-year-old woman. You've got to have very specific information about your most ideal client. Then you've got to know her core problem. And oftentimes this is an aha for a lot of my clients because they've been working with women who are working with their clients and they're all over the map about the kind of problems they serve. I see it in the marketplace all the time, and I'm determined not to be someone who follows the crowd. Let me tell you what I mean. I see that speaking has become something that people are trying to learn more about. So I see a lot of my colleagues all of a sudden teaching people how to speak. It's not my core strength. It's not what I want to do. They're zigging, I'm zagging. Okay. I also see people saying, oh, because I see people wanting to know how to write a book, I'm going to talk to people about how to write a book. There are people out there who are teaching people how to write a book. I can do that. I work with my clients when I do that, but I do not promote that I teach people how to write a book. Not my core strength. Focus on a core problem that your ideal client has. Then your comprehensive solution is very clear. Let me tell you by way of example. My ideal client, my one ideal client is named Janet. Janet is a 45 to 50-year-old woman. She has been in her coaching or speaking business for 3 to 5 years or more. She has experienced a measure of success in her business. She came out of a corporate environment. She's been in her business long enough to have content and know that she wants to build on that content, and she wants to grow to the next level. She wants to scale her business. And the core problem she's experiencing is her sales are sluggish. She wants to increase her fees, but doesn't quite know how to make that transition. She's wondering about if she has the right infrastructure to scale. Now, that's several core problems, but I want to give you a feel for what I'm talking about. So my comprehensive solution is my More Coaching Client Sales and Marketing Academy that gives her a lot of tools that will get her there. My comprehensive solution is a VIP day, a live VIP day with me, where we're going to walk through and pull apart her business and restructure it in a way that helps her to grow and scale at the right level. That's what I mean by ideal client clarity and the power of one. Okay, by way of example only. But here's the thing I want to say before I move on. Your ideal client does present multiple core problems, but you can only solve them one at a time. Just one at a time. And the cool thing about solving them one at a time is you get to know what her experience looks like around that core problem, right? You get to see how the other problems might be affecting her, and you get to see the opportunities you have to create something new again to solve that next core problem. So that's the beauty of sticking with one ideal client. And I say this, and people always are like, oh, when I say it, your ideal client is always ready, willing, and able to hire you, to invest in hiring you. Okay? Let me say it again. Your ideal client is always ready, willing, and able to invest in herself by hiring you. Always. Take a deep breath. I know that's a lot, because a lot of you are going, why won't these people pay me? Because they're not your ideal client. Why do they keep saying they can't afford it? Because they're not your ideal client. Why do they keep not saying no to me and then going over here and hiring somebody else? Because they're not your ideal client. What's for you is for you. So you don't have to worry about somebody hiring a different coach than you. It has happened to me a lot in 17 years, and I've learned that that client was not for me. And down the line, I saw why that was not my ideal client. Your ideal client is waiting on you to show up. Your ideal client is waiting for you to give your fee, the fee that you really truly believe represents the value you bring to the marketplace, so she can say, yes, I want to hire you. Your ideal client is waiting on you. Your ideal client is waiting on you. Okay? Let me see if I see anything else I need to respond to over here. Awesome. Yeah, so ideal client clarity, the power of one, your ideal client being ready, willing, and able to invest in you. So there are 5 things I want to tell you, and if you're having any challenges with attracting clients, enrolling clients, having clients hire you, it's all about what you do to upgrade your ideal clients. I'm going to tell you 5 things you got to do. The first thing you got to do is only work with ideal clients whose values align with yours. You ever work with somebody and every time you said something or offered them something or checked in with them, it felt like tug of war? Their values are not in alignment with yours. I know clients sometimes stumble and sometimes struggle in areas, but their struggle, their stumble is not a tug of war. It really is they're listening to you, they're able to implement what you're sharing, and there's no tug of war. I had a client several years ago. She did a complimentary session with me back when I did them complimentary, and she hired me. She was referred by somebody else. But every time we got into a session, I felt like she had greased down her face like the boxers do and was taking her earrings off because it was time for her to fight with me. I was like, I'm not going to fight you to help you. That's a misalignment of values some kind of way. And I knew pretty quickly that I was not ideal for her, nor was she ideal for me. So it didn't continue because I was like, this isn't working. When you're feeling like you're in a tug of war with clients, that means they're more likely than not your ideal client. The second thing I want to tell you is only attend events where you are likely to meet your ideal clients. If you attend events just for the sake of attending events, it's a waste of your time. And when I say where you're likely to meet your ideal clients, where you're likely to get speaking gigs from it, where you're likely to collaborate with someone there, where you're likely to meet someone who wants to hire you. Only attend events where you are likely to meet your ideal clients. If you attend events outside of that, it's a waste of your time. That's why you got to know who your ideal client is, right? You got to know who that person is so you're attending the right events. And I have a policy. I attend events. You can do what you need to do, but I'll just share mine. I attend events 3 times. And if I'm not able to monetize that in some way, or if I don't see the possibility of it happening in the future, I don't attend again. 3 times is it for me. Okay? 3 times. And that has worked well for me. Now, there's some organizations and some events that I've had to go back to and because it's changed somehow. So the opportunity arose again that it might be a place for me to connect with ideal clients. So be open to that possibility, but don't waste your time going to stuff that's not where you're going to meet your ideal client. The third thing is only offer opportunities to your ideal clients to experience you and your work. Only offer opportunities to your most ideal clients. Anybody and everybody, you don't want to make offers to work with you at all. At all. Throughout my 17 years, I've seen clients who were not ready for coaching. They really needed someone who was more of a professional therapist or counselor, and that's not what I do. It's not what I did then, it's not what I do now. Does that mean I didn't support them? No, I supported the client. I supported them and talked to them about where they were in their readiness to move forward. And then we agreed that therapy was the better solution for them. And once they got to a place in therapy, personal foundation, once they got to a place in therapy, then it made sense for us to revisit the opportunity to work together. But I didn't offer an opportunity to work with those people. I actually helped them and then pointed them in the right direction of support that would engage with them. That's about upgrading your ideal client. So only work with clients whose values align with yours. Only attend events where you're likely to meet your ideal clients. Only offer opportunities to your ideal clients to experience you and your work. And it requires an intentional marketing strategy when you do that too. That means you've got to be very focused on the platforms where you're marketing and selling and talking about what you offer. The fourth one is only coach clients you believe in and fully support in their endeavors. The best example I have of this is years ago in a different business, I had an opportunity when the Georgia Lottery was first being created to actually gain them as a client. They were just laying down stakes in Georgia, so they were in a foundational place. I was in a different kind of business. I did marketing communications in a different business. And someone approached me about working with the lottery. Well, philosophically, I don't believe in the lottery. So for me, I was like, I can't see working with a company and supporting a company that I don't believe in what they do. I don't believe in the lottery. I don't play the lottery. You know, I don't gamble. I don't, you know, no offense to anyone who does. I don't look down on you. It's just not what I do. You have to be very, very clear if you support what someone else is doing. I see it all the time where people are doing business and second guessing themselves for doing business with organizations whose endeavors are questionable. Okay. I've seen people post in their terms of agreement where they will not work with someone who's doing pornography or doing, you know, anything that's illicit for drugs or anything like that. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. You've got to believe in what your clients are doing. And if you don't believe in what your clients are doing, then how can you coach them? How can you serve them? How can you get in front of them and speak to them? I know, Martha, you're here. You're welcome for the knowledge. I know, Martha, you're here, and I know that much of your work is in the church. So you've got to work in church environments where you know you believe in what they're saying, you believe in what they're preaching, and you can support their endeavors. You've got to be in that place with your clients. And then the fifth thing I'm going to say about this is only serve clients who appreciate the value of your program, services, and products. Only serve clients who appreciate the value of your program, services, and products. And the best example I can give you is several years ago, I did a complimentary session with someone. And when I told her what my fees were, she laughed. And as soon as she laughed, I was like, I'm out. And I wasn't abrupt, I wasn't rude, but I was very clear that she didn't get the value because she laughed at my fees. We weren't ever going to work together as long as that was where she was. And I thanked her for being there. I told her I didn't think I was the coach for her, and I wished her well. Don't try to coach people that you got to convince that you're good at what you do. The people who you work with that recognize your value and what you do are those that will appreciate you. They will value your time. They will take full advantage of the opportunities you have. And for those of you who work with me, you know that I give lots of opportunities to work with me, not just content, but I'm also giving of my time. I answer the phone if you call, I return phone calls. There's a lot that happens. And I think that's about valuing you because I know you value what I'm bringing to you. Okay, I see some liking out there. I see some liking. I haven't seen it before, but I see it now. So thank you for that. Awesome. So those are the 5 things you need to do to upgrade your ideal client. I want to give away a couple more ebooks, Kindle edition of my I Charge for That book. And earlier in the session, I shared 3 things that brought me to coaching, 3 things that I inventoried that let me know that coaching was the right thing to do. That's the first question. 3 things that I inventoried that led me to coaching before I actually got my coach training. That's the first question. So the second question I want to give, the first person who answers it, I'm going to give you the Kindle of my ebook. The Kindle version of my best-selling book. I charge for that, Mastering the Mindset for Sales Success. I'm looking. Okay. The second question, I'm also going to give, this is the last Kindle edition of my book I'm going to give. I want to know from what I shared in my story, what was one thing, you only have to name one thing that I made sure was in place before I actually hung out my shingle and started my business. So those are the 2 questions. What are the 3 things that I inventoried that I knew had to be part of my arsenal if I was serious about coaching? And then the second question is, what's one thing that I made sure was in place before I hung out my shingle as a coach? So those are the 2 questions. I'm going to be looking for your answers. I want to tell you a little bit more about my experience, and then I'll jump into the third and final piece of content. The experience I had getting started was quite interesting, especially the work that I do based on the work that I do today. I had not thought about my fees. I had not even sat down to consider what my programs were. I just knew that I wanted to coach and I was ready. So I sent out a grassroots email to my family, friends, and people that I knew, everybody I had an email address for. And my grassroots letter said, basically, hello, this is the business I'm in today. And, this is what I do. This is who I'm looking to serve. And this is how you can help me. If you know someone, thank you, Marsha White. Yes, I got training, and you get a Kindle edition of my I Charge for that book. So congratulations to you, Miss Marsha. Yes, Spirit answered another question. Spirit, she got training, and you guys heard my emphasis on that. So I'll find something else for you, Miss Spirit, since you answered the question as well. But I didn't know what to do. I told them what I was doing, who I wanted to work with, and I had a very, very vague definition of who my ideal client was back then. And one of the people who read, there were two people. The first person who read my email was someone that I had met at a conference that I'd gone to right before I left corporate America. Because I was in information technology, telecommunications, there was a network across the country of Black telecommunications professionals. And they had a conference, and I had gone to it. And one of the people that I met was a director level, D-level manager at a Fortune 500 telecom company. And she called me, and we talked, and I was so excited about what I was doing. I was like, oh, thank you for calling so I can tell you more about it. And she kept saying to me, and I'm finding myself challenged with negotiating this particular situation. And my manager said that, and my vice president did that. I missed it several times before finally I was like, oh, so you want to talk to me about what's going on and see if I can support you? And she was like, well, yeah. She practically hit me over the head because I was so excited about what I was doing that I didn't realize that her call was not just congratulatory. It truly was. She was seeking a coach. She worked with me for about a little over a year. She and I worked together. And when she asked me how much my fees were, I didn't know what to tell her. I think I came up with something and then I revised it later, but the reality was I hadn't thought about it. I hadn't put anything on paper. I didn't even know what my program looked like. So when I talk to you about structuring your programs and setting your fees, that has to be a crucial part of your initial traction. And then it has to be crucial for your elevation and for that scale you're looking for your business. So let me jump in. Yes, I totally missed her buying signals. Absolutely, absolutely. So let's go into the third and final piece of content. And in this piece of content, I'm going to refer to some things, and I want you to make mental note of them. I want you to listen. I want you to jot them down. I don't want you to post them in the comments, Marsha, but I do want you to jot them down, because now I'm going to move to giving away some BBL bucks. BBL stands for Business Beyond Limits, the name of my business, and bucks. And I'm going to give you bucks in certain increments that you can apply to program services and products. Okay. So, how to leverage your expertise and experience to increase your sales. I talked about income acceleration and that being really a mindset shift. It totally is a mindset shift, I'm telling you. What I want you to understand is that mindset shift is the basis for everything else and how you go about increasing your sales. You've got to recognize the value of what you do. You heard me say that several times. You've also got to recognize the value of what you're bringing to the marketplace. And here's the point I want to make. Everything counts. Everything counts. Every bit of education you have, every bit of training you've had, not just the training you've had to be a coach or a speaker, not just your experiences with Toastmaster, not just your experiences training and leading Sunday school and preaching and speaking. Everything counts. Everything counts. Every bit of coaching you've had, every coaching conversation you've had, because I don't know about you, I record all of my coaching conversations and I go back and I listen to them after a period of time. And what I find is, wow, I was really going someplace in this session. Wow, I really did a great job of listening. And this is what I led the client to. This is what I guided her to. I go back and I listen because I learned from myself as well. Every bit of conversation you've ever had counts. Every relationship you've ever had, whether it was personal or business or in your coaching or speaking business, everything counts. What happens is we forget all of that yumminess that comes from life. I'm not saying all of your expertise comes from life. What I'm saying is you've got to make sure that you allow that expertise, that experience you've had in life to weigh into your value. I have conversations with my 29-year-old son all the time. And the one that he knows that I share that I don't think I'll embarrass him too much about is when he first started dating his girlfriend. And they've been together, we're going on 3 years now. They've been together. I say we, but they have been going on 3 years now. And when I first met her, it was probably about 3 to 4 months after they started dating. And we went to his friend's house for something. The three of us went to his friend's house for something. And we were sitting there talking, and his best friend is a little bit older than my son is. And I said something, I forget, it came up in the conversation, but I said something like, the things that you think are so adorable and so cute now will be the bane of your existence later in life. And he was like, Mom, I just can't imagine what you're saying. Why would you say that? It's like you're wishing that on us. And I said, no, I'm not wishing that on you. I've just been living longer than you. So I want you, as you think about your expertise and the experience you bring, you're bringing whatever number of years are assigned to your life with you. What you learned as a 15-year-old, what you learned as a 19-year-old, what experiences you had as a 22-year-old, things that you may have, relationships that you had, boyfriends, girlfriends, divorces, pastors, best friends, loss, all of that comes with you as part of your package. The reason it's important, and here's the big thing I want you to get from what I'm saying, everything counts because lessons matter. Everything counts because lessons matter. If you went through all of that and you didn't learn anything, then you're missing out on real opportunity. But lessons matter. And the more lessons you understand that matter in your life, the more you can apply that learning to everything that you're doing. The lessons matter. Lessons matter. So when I started doing my coaching inventory way back when I started, I realized what I just said to you, lessons matter. So I started thinking about how I could build my coaching practice around the lessons that I've learned. And so I started out immediately as a writer and personal coach. Immediately. And for the first 2 years in my business, I was scared of everything. It didn't show, but I was scared of everything. I was afraid of failure. I was afraid of success. I was afraid to get out there. I was afraid not to get out there. I was afraid to go places. I was afraid not to go places. I was afraid to encounter anything because it was so new. It was so uncertain. It was so different for me. I was afraid. And one of the defining pieces of training that I got was through the Fearless Living Institute with Rhonda Britton. She's got a book. It's called Fearless Living, Live Without Excuses and Love Without Regret. And I don't have it on my desk right now, but I used to have it. The spine of it is taped, it's dog-eared, I've written in the margins, it's got highlighter all through it. That book was life-changing for me. Life-changing for me. And I even invested in going to a Fearless Foundation weekend, I think it's what it used to be called. And it's a 3-day experience where you are just run through all your fears that you got to face, and you got to look at them, and you got to deal with them. You got to figure out what that really means for you. And the lessons that I learned from the program were just powerful. 2 real quick ones. Your power lies in your intention. You can't control what other people say, do, behave, think. It's none of your business. But what you can do where you have great power is to show up in a way that serves and supports you. How do you want to show up in a situation? What of your lessons helped you to learn about showing up in particular situations? Powerful, powerful stuff. But when you recognize everything counts because lessons matter, you're going to find that increase in your sales is totally possible, and it's easier than you think. Yeah, it's easier than you think. Hey, Winnie, love it. Love the BBL Bucks. Okay, you guys ready for some BBL Bucks? So you heard my last bit of content. You heard a little bit about my story. So I'm going to give 3 series of BBL Bucks, and I'm going to give it to anybody who answers. That means if you want these BBL Bucks, that's where you can apply to any of my programs. You can apply these BBL Bucks. Then if you answer in the comments, then I'm going to give the BBL Bucks to everybody for that particular question. So the first question is, and it kind of goes back, not the last section of content, but when I first started. There's a person that I knew when I first came to coaching that passed away. And I mentioned him by name, and I would love for you to share with me what your memory is of who that is. If you remember his name, type it in the contents. It is for 50 BBL Bucks, 50. So you can apply $50 in BBL Bucks to any program, and I'm going to tell you where you can apply it later. Okay, 50 BBL Bucks. Who was the person that I mentioned who was someone who I knew and was alive and well when I started coaching, but passed away not long after I started coaching? Write his name in the, not Henry. You're close, Winnie, but that's not right. Not Lemon. Y'all are funny. Y'all are funny. If you get his first name or his last name, I'll still accept it. Just whatever it is, 50 BBL Bucks. 50 BBL Bucks. What is his name? Okay, the second question I'm going to ask is, I talked about, I don't have these written down, so I'm looking at my notes to make sure that I can ask a good question. In my first bit of content, and I don't think I said it, but it is something that is the foundation for you being able to accelerate your income quickly. I mentioned one thing. It's 3 words. 3 words. And if you follow me on social media, you know that the 3 words are also my personal mantra. Okay? List those 3 words. List those 3 words. Okay, Winnie says, Marsha says Thomas Leonard. That's right, Marsha. And Winnie says, look at Lennon. I'll take it. I'll take it. So you get 50 BBL Bucks, Marsha, and 50 BBL Bucks for you. Yes, ma'am. Raise your fees was one of the things I said, but there were 3 things related to that. You must be able to recognize, you must understand if you want to increase your fees. 3 words. 3 words. It's my personal mantra. If you follow me, you know what it is. I said it a couple of times. Okay, that's the second thing. The third thing, again, anybody who responds is going to get 50 BBL Bucks. The first thing I shared, and Marsha wrote it in the comments, but the first thing I shared about what you can do today to enroll clients into your high-end programs. The first thing you can do, what you need to do, I gave 5 points related to it. What are the 5 points that I gave you related to? Hey, Gina, good to see you. Okay, you answered the second question now. Recognize your value. Yeah, know your value, Spirit and Marsha, for the second part of this question. The one that you guys seem to be struggling with is mindset is everything. Mindset is everything. Mindset is everything. If you want to increase your fees, mindset is everything. If you want to charge, if you want to sell more of your services, mindset is everything. Mindset is everything. Yes. And value your worth. No, it's 4 words. Okay. I don't know what you mean, Winnie, but I gave you, look, I gave you 50 BBL Bucks. I gave you 50 BBL Bucks. So 50 BO bucks for recognize your value, raise your fees, know your value. Thomas Leonard, you guys all got 50 BBL bucks for that. Okay. Now we're going to move to some of the harder questions because I'm going to give you 100 BBL bucks. 100 BBL bucks. So that means you have 100 BBL bucks to apply to a program I'm going to tell you about in just a minute. Okay. 100 BBL bucks. I told you in the last set of content that I shared with you, I told you that my first 2 years in business were particularly challenging, and I shared why. If you can tell me what I shared in the comments, then you will earn 100 BBL bucks. 100 BBL bucks. Okay. What did I share that caused my first 2 years in business to be exceptionally challenging? What were those 2 things? Okay, Winnie says I charge for that. She just wants me to give her credit for that. Girl, I got you. You got credit for that. You're going to get 50 bucks for that. But I talked about those first 2 years and why they were so challenging for me. I'm still looking to see who's coming up with that. 100 BBL bucks for your response. 100 BBL bucks for that. Okay. 100 BBL bucks. I'm still waiting. Still waiting. Still waiting. Okay, I don't see any responses. I'm going to keep on going. Second question for 100 BBL bucks. Second question for 100 BBL bucks. Give me one strategy I gave you, one point that I told you to upgrade, you can use to upgrade your ideal client. Just one point that I gave you for how you can upgrade your ideal client. Just one strategy I gave you. One, just type it in the comments for 100 BBL bucks. 100 BBL bucks. This is your second attempt at BBL bucks for $100. Then the last thing I'm going to give you, is for 250 BBL bucks. That's a lot of BBL bucks for you. And I'm going to make it the grand prize, and only one person, the first person who responds to this, will get the $250 BBL bucks. 250 BBL bucks. Okay, valued at $250 that you can apply to a program. I'm going to tell you what the final question is in just a minute. I don't know if you guys are aware, but in October of 2017, I quietly launched my digital university. It's called More Coaching Client Sales and Marketing Academy. And I've designed it with lots of content that is self-paced. A lot of it is information you can access 24/7. In addition to providing live training every month, I do monthly office hours, which is one-on-one coaching with people who are there. And the first level program is called the Income Starter Program. You get access to everything that I described, as well as a program concierge to guide you through the technology of the campus if you're struggling in some way that way. And my team is actually doing a little bit of a redesign and reconstruction on the site right now. It's not quite ready, but you can still access some amazing content for the next 3 days. So for the next 72 hours, you can join More Coaching Client Sales and Marketing Academy for $27 for the next 14 days. And in 14 days, it goes up to the regular monthly, which is $197 per month. Still an amazing opportunity for you to get sales, marketing training, access to me, my coaching, access to my content, what I share in the way of value and comprehensive solutions to you. If you're a coach, a speaker who is ready to scale your business, you're ready to take your business into the next 6 figures or higher, I'm the person who can support you, and this is a great way for you to check out how I can support you. Go to morecoachingclients.com/trial. That will take you directly to your payment link, morecoachingclients.com/trial 14 days, $27, then it goes up to $197 per month after that. You can cancel at any time. I ask for this trial that you let me know when you decide you want to cancel. Once you're in the $197 program, I require 30-day advance notice if you want to cancel. But you can cancel when you're ready to cancel. Okay, if it's not something that works for you, and I don't want you there if it's not something that works for you. I would love to support you. I'd love to be your coach. morecoachingclients.com/trial, TRIAL, is how you can get to that information. So I'm looking, thank you, Marsha, for posting that. Appreciate it. Okay, work with ideal clients. Okay, Martha just got 100 BBL bucks. Yes, work with ideal clients, only attend event where ideal clients are. Yes, Martha was taking notes. I love it. So you got 100 BBL bucks for that. So for the 250 BBL bucks, and I know I said this in the beginning when I did not have my headset on. So let me find something else since I didn't, that wouldn't be fair to you, right? If I did that. I shared a story about working with clients whose value is not aligned with yours. I shared a story, and I described the story as being tug of war. Okay, what was the story I shared? And if you give me just a couple of elements of the story, I'll know you heard it and you remember it. This is when I talked about working with clients whose values align with yours, because if they don't, you're going to run into some challenges. I actually shared two stories, but either way, if you share the story, then I will give you 250 BBL bucks, $250 that you can apply to any program at Business Beyond Limits. So let me close out by getting your input about what you're walking away from. I'm going to watch the comments to see who that first person is that gets the 250 BBL bucks with me. She put on face grease. Yes, ma'am, Miss Spirit. That was the one. That was one of the ones I was looking for. Spirit has gotten 50 BBL bucks times 2, and you've also gotten yes, and Marsha too. And she put on face grease for the 250. Marsha, Spirit beat you to the 250, but you've won, I think, the 50 and 100. So you're good on BBL bucks too. No one's a loser here. By the way, everybody who showed up here, who made a comment, who participated, engaged with me, I'm going to give you a special Kindle prize of my first book, best-selling book. My first book was a best-selling book on Amazon in global marketing. It's called Business Beyond Limits: 7 Powerful Practices for Creating a Highly Profitable Business. And I'm going to give you the Kindle edition. Everybody who's here, I'm going to give you the Kindle edition of my first book. If you engaged, if you posted in the comments, if you showed up, I'm going to share that with you. I would love to serve you and support you at More Coaching Client Sales and Marketing Academy. The trial is only available for the next 72 hours. That's 3 days. Okay, my team is putting the finishing touches on it. So for the next 3 days, you can actually access all of the content. Like all of the content, you can access it for the next 72 hours. But you got to do it right away. morecoachingclients.com/trial. It's where you will find, you're welcome. It's where you will find lots and lots of content. When I first opened the campus, I looked and I actually went through every bit of content, and I assigned a $97 value to videos. I assigned a $97 value to audios, and $97 value to PDFs and downloadable stuff. And the number that I came up with just by going through every piece of content and saying, okay, this is 97, this is 97, the value of the Income Starter Program is greater than $30,000. So there's a ton of content in the campus. Get the trial now for 14 days, $27. After that, it's $197 a month. You can cancel at any time. Once you're in the $197 program, I ask for a 30-day advance notice if you want to cancel. But during the trial, I understand if you try it, you like it, and you're out. I get it. Okay, I get it. This is the only time that it will be offered at this rate. So take advantage of that. I want to hear from you guys. Thank you so much, Donna. I appreciate you being here. Yes, I got to meet Donna a couple of months ago in Chicago. Yes, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. So tell me in your closing thoughts what you gained from being here today. We've been here about an hour. That's a little bit longer than I had planned, but I'm glad. I hope it was fun for you. Tell me what you're walking away with from today. What are you walking away with from today, other than the fact that I'm over here sweating and hot, because it's hot in Georgia. Yeah. Love you guys too much. Thank you, Winnie. Thank you, Martha. What are you walking away with? Tell me what you're walking away with. While you're telling me, be sure that you share the video, do a watch party with your friends so they can add comments. I'll come back and respond to their comments. You can do tons and tons and tons of stuff to share it. I appreciate it. It's my 17th anniversary today, and I'm excited and honored that I still get to show up in the marketplace. No, $27 is the price for 14 days. $27, let me make sure I'm clear, Martha, I'm sorry. $27 is what you can pay for the next 3 days. Your trial is for 14 days, and after 14 days, it goes to $197. I hope that clarified. I'm inspired to engage with my clients in new ways. Super valuable to me. Awesome, Marsha. Thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate it. Again, share the video. Invite your friends to do a watch party if they share their comments. I promise I'll come back and I'll respond to their comments. I always do something interesting when I come on live. It's been a long time since I've been in the group, but you guys are getting ready to get pumped up with lots more content right here in the group. And I'm just excited that you were here and I was able to support you with content, with fun, with prizes, with BBL bucks. I've got to go back and watch the video so I can keep track of who did what. But just know that I believe in giving and sharing. So for showing up, you're going to get something just for showing up. And a great deal relating to how I value myself, my clients, and my service and price. Awesome, Spirit. Glad to hear it. Thank you, Miss Winnie. Congratulations to me, she says. Walking away with lots. I appreciate you, Martha and Winnie, for being here as well. Everybody that showed up, thank you so much for celebrating with me. And I look forward to maybe 17 more years. Let's see. I don't know that I want to go that long, but I want many more years, and I'd love for you to be a part of that. Take care, everyone, and have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Bye.